Hi everybody, hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I'm gonna read a chapter of one of my all-time favorite books. If you know me, I'll say all books are my favorite, but Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing by Judy Blume is one of my favorite books. So a lot of characters in this book that you can think about and make inferences about, and it has some funny characters. And I think you'll be able to make a lot of connections, especially if you have siblings. All right, so chapter 1, The Big Winner. I won dribble at Jimmy Fargo's birthday party. All of the other guys got to take home goldfish in little plastic bags. I won him because I guessed there were 347 jelly beans in Mrs. Fargo's jar. Really, there were 423, she told us later. Still, my guess was the closest. Peter Warnhatcher is the big winner, Mrs. Fargo announced. At first, I felt bad that I didn't get a goldfish too. Then Jimmy handed me a glass bowl. Inside, there was some water and 3 rocks. A tiny green turtle was sleeping on the biggest rock. All the other guys looked at their goldfish. I knew what they were thinking. They wished they had a tiny green turtle too. I named my turtle Dribble. While I was walking home from Jimmy's party. I live at 25 West 68th Street. It's an old apartment building, but it's got one of the best elevators in New York City. There are mirrors all around. You can see yourself from every angle. There's a soft cushioned bench to sit on, and if you're too tired to stand. The elevator operator's name is Henry Beldheimer. He lets us call him Henry because Beldheimer's really hard to say. Our apartment's on the 12th floor, but I don't have to tell Henry. He already knows. He knows everybody in the building. He's that smart. He even knows I'm 9 and in the 4th grade. I showed him Dribble right away. I won him at a birthday party, I said. Henry smiled. Your mother's sure gonna be surprised. Henry was right. My mother was really surprised. Her mouth opened when I said, just look at what I won at Jimmy Fargo's birthday party. I held up my tiny green turtle. I've already named him Dribble. Isn't that a great name for a turtle? My mother made a face. I don't like the way he smells, she said. What do you mean? I asked. I put my nose right down close to him. I didn't smell anything but turtle. So Dribble smells like turtle, I thought. Well, he's supposed to. That's what he is. And I'm not going to take care of him either, my mother added. Of course you're not, I told her. He's my turtle, and I'm the one who's going to take care of him. You're going to change his water and clean his bowl and feed him and all of that, she asked. Yes, I said. And even more, I'm going to see to it that he's happy. This time my mother made a funny noise, like a groan. I went into my bedroom. I put Dribble on top of my dresser and tried to... I went to my bedroom. I put Dribble on top of my dresser. I tried to pet him and tell him he would be happy living with me, but it isn't easy to pet a turtle. They aren't soft and furry, and they don't lick you or anything. Still, I had my very own pet at last. Later, when I sat down at the dinner table, my mother said, I smell turtle. Peter, go and scrub your hands. Some people might think my mother is my biggest problem. She doesn't like turtles and she's always telling me to scrub my hands. That doesn't mean just run them underwater. Scrub means I'm supposed to use soap and rub my hands together. Then I've got to rinse and dry them. I ought to know by now. I've heard it enough. But my mother isn't my biggest problem. Neither is my father. He spends a lot of time watching commercials on TV. That's because he's in the advertising business. These days, his favorite commercial is the one about Juicio. He wrote it himself, and the president of the Juicio company liked it so much, he sent my father a whole crate of Juicio for our family to drink. It tastes like a combination of oranges, pineapples, grapefruits, pears, and bananas. And if you want to know the truth, I'm getting pretty sick of it. But Juicio isn't my biggest problem either. My biggest problem is my brother, Farley Drexel Hatcher. He's 2.5 years old. Everybody calls him Fudge. I feel sorry for him if he's going to grow up with a name like Fudge, but I don't say a word. It's none of my business. Fudge is always in my way. He messes up everything he sees. And he gets mad. When he gets mad, he throws himself flat on the floor and he screams and he kicks and he bangs his fists. The only time I really like him is when he's sleeping. He sucks his 4 fingers on his left hand and makes a slurping noise. When Fudge saw Dribble, he said, "Ooh, see?" And I said, "That's my turtle. Get it? Mine. You don't touch him." Fudge said, "No touch." Then he laughed like crazy. And that's the end of chapter 1. And maybe you've already made some connections if you have brothers or sisters. One thing I do want to point out is in my class, we've been talking about voice and how you use your voice to make the writing sound like you. And Judy Blume makes the first person who's telling the story, Peter, makes his voice come out like he talks to you, and he has sarcasm, like when he's saying, "You might think my biggest problem is my mother." That's his voice, and he's talking to you. So the next chapter is called Mr. and Mrs. Juicio, and his dad, Mr. Hatcher, is going to have the Yarbys, Mr. and Mrs. Yarby, over, and there's going to be some things that happen. So I can't wait to read chapter 2 to you. Thanks for listening. Have a good night.